My 15-year-old son thinks you're amazing and inspiring. My son is really into electronics and building things, but not as much into coding. What advice would you give him that might help him and other kids like him when he's thinking about building skills early to do epic things like you with his life?
Well, good news for him. I'm not much of a coder either. I'm more of a hardware guy, more of an electro-optical mechanical guy. And so I think he's in a fine place to not necessarily be a great coder, especially with how things are going with AI. Like the actual act of coding is going to become less and less important to being able to build things.
Really?
I'm not saying that you're not going to still have programmers. I'm not saying that you're going to have everything done by AI. But when you're talking about, the types of coding that I had to learn to do, like gluing together bits of firmware, making my Arduino. Well, the Arduino wasn't big when I was his age, but stuff.
Wait, what did you just say?
Arduino. It's the thing that all the kids are using these days. It's a quasi open source microcontroller kit that allows you to interface different types of sensors with compute. So like if you wanted to build an automated bird feeder, in my day, you would have gone out and been like, okay, I'm going to build a 555 microcontroller circuit with a timer and an interrupt, and I'm going to build a thing where the bird flies in and it dispenses feed, or it dispenses feed, every 12 hours if no birds come by. We would have done that all by scratch. These days, a kid would go and buy an Arduino, and they would probably plug in like the motor, and they'd plug in the sensor, and then they would write a little bit of code that says, if the resistance level coming off of this sensor, if the resistance drops to this, that means something's blocking it. That means that it's probably a bird. Then trigger this motor, fire this relay, give it the voltage for this long, this many seconds. That's the kind of way you would do it these days. And so I'm saying that type of coding, you don't need to be very good. Like you need to know enough to get by. Think about you might not know enough to design a car engine, but you know enough to clean a carburetor. That's the type of coder I was. And so I think his son is in a perfectly fine place. The most important advice that I can give people is to work on projects that you care about. Don't look to school, whether it's college or the state mandated, younger educational system. Don't look to them to tell you, here's what electronics projects you should be working on. Here's what you should be doing to learn how to do these things. Because one, they're often years or even decades behind what industry and hobbyists are actually doing. So you're going to be learning how to do things that are ancient. Two, when you're working on something that you're only doing for yourself, you're going to make way better decisions, I generally find, in what you teach yourself, in how you do things. Like when I hire people at Anduril, I look for people who have done projects that were outside of what their work paid them to do or what their school made them do, because that means they're the type of person who is willing to work on things with their own money and their own time because they want to bring something into this world that wouldn't have existed otherwise.